What it do? Bedtime crew. Hey man, listen, today I am here to fix every single UFC weight class. I'm going to be talking about who the champion needs to be fighting, what fights need to be made, like all that type of stuff. I'm going to be covering all of that. I was going to do a big fancy like edited video, but I think the most efficient way for me to properly like info dump about every single weight class and just yap about all of this is to just do it in one take. So that's what we're going to do. Let's get into this, dude. In the heavyweight division, it's very obvious what needs to be done. They have to make this fight. I'm not even going to waste your time as a respectable human being with a functioning brain that you are. I don't even need to explain this to you. There is only one man, seemingly, that needs this fucking explained to him, and that's Dana White. You know, and I almost considered going to UFC 305 just to get in the media day, just to ask him about it. But I know he would have just got, what's the question? Listen, kid. I'm not defending John Jones. Aspinall, the kid, he's working his way up slowly. He's not there yet. Stipe and Jones is the biggest fight you do. Everyone else can see that this needs to be made. They haven't made the Stipe fight yet. He's ranked number 7. He's ranked below fucking Sergey Spivak, and he's getting a title shot. What sense does that possibly make? Make Jones versus Aspinall. And as for Stipe Miocic, if he's ready to fight, if he's ready to come back, I think there is a way to get him to a title shot. I don't think he needs a win streak. I think he needs one win to be like, hey, I'm back, you know? And I think a good matchup that, now I wouldn't pick him to win this, but I'm saying that it's a fair matchup for him. Let's do Curtis Blades versus Stipe Miocic. This fight should be booked. Number 5 versus number 7. You can headline a fight night with this. You can put this on the same card as Jones versus Aspinall. Blades didn't really take a lot of damage against Aspinall. And I think this is a much more sensible fucking pair of matchups. Jones versus Aspinall. Stipe versus Blades. This fight should have happened years ago. Blades should have got a title shot against Stipe back when he beat fucking Alistair Overeem. But regardless, this is the fight that you do, in my opinion, with Stipe Miocic before he gets a fucking title shot at 42 years old. And the only other fight I really want to see at heavyweight is Sergey Pavlovich versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Now, this is a bit of a jump down for Sergey Pavlovich in competition. He's only lost to Aspinall and Volkov. But I think that the motivation for Pavlovich fighting a certain type of fighter, of course what I'm talking about is fighting a striker, I think this is going to be a good matchup for him. I think we're going to get to see prime Pavlovich back in there. And if he loses, we get the Rozenstruik title run that we've all been praying for. So I think these are the main 3 fights that you need to see at heavyweight. I'd also say the UFC should be looking to make fucking Jailton Almeida versus Sergey Spivak. You know, he's a great fighter. I'd love to see him fight Jailton Almeida. That'd be a good matchup. But yeah, that's what the UFC should do with heavyweight. They should do Jones versus Aspinall. Obviously, no shit. Do Blades versus Stipe. Do Pavlovich versus Rozenstruik. And the winner of Volkov versus Gane gets a title shot. Especially if Curtis Blades beats Stipe, which I think he would. That's a perfect opportunity to do Gane or Volkov versus Aspinall for the heavyweight title. That's what I would do with that division. Let's move on to the light heavyweight division. And I know that he just came out with a statement about this, and I understand it. I didn't say, listen, I didn't say that he was ducking, or I never said that he ducked Ankalaev. You'll never find a video of me saying that. I just said it looked like he was, but he confirmed that he wasn't. So after Alex Pereira chins Khalil Roundtree in the goofy, nonsensical main event of 307, can we just finally make this fight? Can we finally make this fight happen? I'm not asking for much. I'm not asking for a lot. Magomed Ankalaev, just agree to fight for the belt, bro. Stop beating up jobbers at light heavyweight. You've got a title shot. Just take it, okay? This gives me big old, like, O'Malley versus Marab vibes. Like, this should have happened a fight ago, but it didn't. And I think we're just going to have to wait, like, another 6 months or 8 months before we fucking see this thing next year. But this should be next. This should be the agenda at light heavyweight, is getting these two in the cage against each other. I think this is the hardest fight for Alex Pereira at light heavyweight. I also think this is the hardest fight for Magomed Ankalaev at light heavyweight. And I'm finally interested in this matchup. I didn't really care when he got booked against Rakic, but the Roundtree fight actually has me fucking crashing at, like, actually has me mad, bro. Like, it's such a dumb, nonsensical fight. And the fucking people in the comments that are like, dude, he literally beat Johnny Walker, bro. It's not that much different from Khalil Roundtree. Khalil Roundtree lost to fucking Dustin Jacoby, the biggest jobber at light heavyweight. Magomed Ankalaev beat Walker, fucking Uzdemir, Krylov. And by the way, Krylov and Uzdemir, they deserve a title shot more than Roundtree, let alone fucking Magomed Ankalaev. So I'm sick to death of the people that are somehow defending this Roundtree title shot. I know why it got made, but I still think it's really dumb. And they should have just waited for Pereira versus Ankalaev. Or just, here's a crazy idea. Don't book Ankalaev versus Rakic. Instead, they should be looking to do Rakic versus Roundtree. This is a good title elimination bout. If Roundtree has any chance to beat Pereira, why would we not want to see him fight fucking Alexander Rakic? This is a badass matchup. It should be this at UFC 308 in Abu Dhabi. I think that's what it should be. And it should be Ankalaev versus Pereira. I think these are the next fights that you make anyways, because I know what the outcome's going to be. Unless, the UFC is completely just thrown away the script copy that I got. Maybe they did. I mean, I'm getting Lucas Tracy level picks out here, but I think Rakic versus Roundtree makes a lot more sense. And another fight I want to see at the top of the division is Yuri Prohaska versus Jamal Hill. We were supposed to get this fight back in the day. These two are like the interim light heavyweight champs that were in between the reigns of Glover Teixeira and Alex Pereira, right? And I think that this is a great matchup. Like, I think this is a good test for Yuri Prohaska if he's actually working on his defense and trying to improve. But I also think this is a pretty winnable matchup for Jamal Hill. And I may actually, listen up, I may pick Salty Man Hill. Jamal Hill has just cancelled filming a 20-minute long rant video about me. He just heard that I've said something nice about him. I can confirm the rumors are true. I think Jamal Hill would win this matchup. And I think this is a solid bounce back for both of these guys from losing to Alex Pereira. They can move on and fight the winner of Rakic Roundtree. Maybe they fight Ankalaev if he loses to Pereira. A lot of fucking options for the winner of this one, but I feel like this is one that, the fans really want to see. But also, it's kind of one that we need to see, bro. The hood needs this fight, bro. This is a badass matchup. And yeah, dude. As for light heavyweight, other matchups I think are worth a mention, but I'm not going to make a full thing about them. Please make Jan Blachowicz versus Volkan Oezdemir. That's a badass fight. Make that matchup. And I heard a fucking rumor, and I don't know if it's true because I saw it on Twitter, which I get all my information from. Okay? I'm a really informed YouTuber, guys. I heard that Nikita Krylov is coming back. I heard that bro is actually alive. He grabbed the reboot card. All right? They should do Nikita Krylov versus Azamat Murzakanov. That fight needs to happen. Remember the booking that I just said. Nikita Krylov, Azamat Murzakanov. Let's get that done. That's my opinion on light heavyweight. Now I'm going to move to, honestly, one of the goofy, goobery divisions, middleweight. It's kind of the main plotline of the UFC. I would say the main plotline of the UFC is definitely at middleweight. Obviously, the main storyline being, of course, GM3 title run. He just got a huge win over the weekend. But no, seriously, all jokes aside, first thing we need to address is the middleweight title because it's weird, bro. Like, there's a lot of contenders, but none of them are, like, jumping out at me. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of top contenders that kind of, I would be like, yeah, you could get a title shot. But none of them are like, this guy needs to be fighting for the belt. He deserves it so badly, right? I guess my option is, let's just get this fight out of the way. Let's do the rematch. I did think Strickland won it. And I don't necessarily think I would pick him in a rematch just because Drickus has a lot of ways he can change his game. He could try, fighting with some technique. He could try wrestling. He's got a little bit more variety, whereas Strickland is just going to come back in again. Here's the fucking thing, dude. We're going to fucking war for you guys, dude. I'm going to come down with a fucking... I'm ready to bleed and lose some fucking brain cells for you guys. You know what I mean? Like, that's all we're getting. So we kind of know what the fight is going to look like from Strickland's end. We probably would be picking DDP, most people. But I feel like, let's just get this out of the way. Give Strickland his title shot so that if he loses, you can go, all right, we gave you what you wanted. Now you can go fight in the Apex again, right? And if Strickland wins, maybe you do a trilogy. Probably not. Knowing the UFC, they'll be dying to get Whitaker in there against him or Chimaev in there against him. That's probably their goal, is to give the winner of Whitaker, Chimaev, the winner of this fight, regardless of who it is. So I think that's obviously what's going to happen at middleweight with that. As for the contenders at middleweight, right? Because it's going to be Strickland fighting for the belt, then probably Chimaev. Whitaker will probably get a couple of wins, bouncing back from the loss to Chimaev, or he gets a title shot, The biggest question mark is really Izzy, dude, because Izzy is a big name, but he's completely frozen out of the title picture. Like, if Whitaker, fucking Strickland, Dricus, any of them is still champion, he ain't getting a title. It's not happening. I know that you think if Whitaker wins the belt, he'll get a trilogy. It will not happen. Nobody cares about that fight. Nobody wants to see that. I think the UFC should just say, fuck it. Do Adesanya versus Braulio, bro. Do Adesanya versus Braulio as a fight night main event. Maybe throw it on the December pay-per-view. Why not, bro? Why not just give us real contender Izzy back again? Get actual contender Izzy back in the cage. He looked pretty good against Dricus. I think he's going to be able to do well against Braulio. Maybe you give him a Mavov if he beats Brendan Allen, but I think Brendan Allen's going to win that, and I honestly don't see the UFC risking Brendan Allen somehow beating Izzy, because I think that would be like career ending. Like, I like Brendan Allen. You guys know me. I'm a Brendan Allen fan now. My boy is a fucking marauder of the highest order. But I just can't see the UFC going, let's take the risk of Brendan Allen being the guy that submits Izzy after Dricus, right? Because that we'll never hear the end of it. So I think Braulio is a lot more exciting. A little bit more marketable, and the UFC is probably okay with the idea if he manages to beat Izzy because of the Fighting Nerds storyline. That, by the way, great job from the writing team cooking up that plot armor for the Fighting Nerds. I've been talking about this for a while. I'm glad everyone else is seeing it as well. Yeah, Adesanya versus Braulio, I think that's a decent fight. And you know what, dude? Fuck it. Cannonier versus Costa. Can we give Jared Cannonier a fight he can actually win? Can we please do that? I think this is a fun matchup. I think this is a good matchup. I wouldn't be mad at him fighting Brendan Allen if he loses to Imavov either. I think that's a bit winnable for him. But let's chill on giving Jared Cannonier these young, dangerous prospects. Let's give him Paulo Costa, who doesn't really give a fuck about fighting. And I think this is a casual enough matchup to get people excited. Exciting brawl, because Jared Cannonier is going to bring it every single time. I don't think he'll get chinned by Paulo Costa, so it's a little bit more watchable, because that knockdown in round 5 was fucking brutal, dude. I felt so bad for my boy Jared, bro. They literally saw that Imavov finish and were like, all right, bro, you want to go out? All right, bet, bro. See you in the afterlife, buddy. So, yeah, give Jared Cannonier some time off. Let's do him versus Paulo Costa. I think that's what you do at middleweight. Let's talk about welterweight, bro. Now, those of you that are in touch with the bedtime lore, you know that welterweight is my favorite division. And I don't know why exactly that is. I think it's just because of this man being the champion, Bilal Muhammad. I want to see him fight Shavkat. I know that we need to see Shavkat versus JDM, but JDM's injured. I don't know when he's coming back. I know that Shavkat is just sitting around doing nothing, probably riding a horse, like living a Minecraft fucking lifestyle. Get in the cage, fight Bilal Muhammad, take the 50-45 like a man. No, I'm just kidding. I think this is a badass matchup. This is literally Glover Teixeira versus Yuri Prochazka at welterweight. This is a matchup that I guarantee you will end up being like fight of the night, one of the best fights of the year. Put this on the December pay-per-view. And can I just say, when it comes to this matchup as well, I'm seeing an uncomfortable amount of people talking about Bilal Muhammad defending his belt against Kamaru. I'm seeing way too many fucking posts on Instagram, Twitter, comments on YouTube. I'm seeing way too many fucking people talking about Kamaru Usman getting a title shot. I love Usman. You guys know this. He is on a fucking 3-fight losing streak. We're not doing this again. We're not doing this. I already had to sit through Colby versus Leon instead of Bilal versus Leon. I want active top contenders that deserve a title shot to get a title shot. I'm done with the 2023, bro. I'm done with the Cheeto title shots. I'm done with the Khalil Roundtree title shot. I'm done with it, bro. Shavkat versus Bilal, December. Give us a war. And as for Kamaru Usman, fight JDM. Just fight JDM. This is a winnable matchup for Usman, but I also believe that my boy JDM will chin Kamaru Usman late in the fight. I believe he beats Kamaru Usman. He outboxes him badly. He's good enough at scrambling to not get submitted. Usman has no submissions. It's going to be going the distance, and I think JDM has enough time to hurt Usman on the feet and finish him. But this is a great fight. This is a sick matchup. This is much, much more entertaining than Usman getting an undeserved title shot against Bilal. I don't want to see it. And if JDM's coming off an injury, this makes it even more winnable. It's even more enticing for Kamaru Usman. But I still think JDM would win this. But this is what you have to do, in my opinion. Because if Usman wins this, then you do deserve a title shot. Because JDM is borderline more deserving than Shavkat. He's just not as available right now. He's beat Gilbert Burns. He beat Kevin Holland. He's on this activity run as well. But he's injured. So let him take some time off. Come back early next year. Fight Kamaru Usman. Winner of this gets a title shot against the winner of Bilal versus Shavkat. Any way you slice it, it's a badass matchup. Bilal versus JDM. Interesting matchup. Bilal versus Usman. We've been getting hyped for this, right? Shavkat versus Usman. Badass fight. Shavkat versus JDM. Dream title fight. In my opinion, the dream title fight at welterweight is Shavkat versus JDM for the belt. That's my dream, all right? As for Leon Edwards, right? Because he lost the belt. He's going to be looking to rebound. And obviously, Ian Gary is floating around too. Oh, man, I'm going to take a lot of joy in this. I'm sending these two to the Apex, dude. We're going to do Leon versus Ian Gary in the Apex. Oh, you know how long I've been praying for this, man. You know how long I've been praying to say, you know what? I think Leon Edwards, coming off his loss to Bilal Muhammad, should fight Ian Gary in the Apex. Have fun, buddy. I'm sending Leon Edwards to the Apex, and he's fighting Ian Machado Gary. That is what you get. You don't get a title shot. You don't get to fight someone exciting. You get to fight Ian Gary, and that is that, all right? Have fun, buddy. I'm packing you up. I'm sending you to the Apex, dude. With a zinc roof, bro. All right? Last fight I want to see at welterweight. Make this fight. Make this fight. I need to see it. Put this on a pay-per-view that's going to be mid, and I guarantee you we will see a badass matchup. Colby Covington, I want to see so many things of this matchup. I want to see Charles Oliveira at 170. I think he's about the same size as Colby, if not slightly bigger, honestly. I also want to see how Colby approaches trash talking. Because what's like Charles Oliveira's just going to get... I thank you so much. My English is little, brother. Charles Oliveira, brother. I beat the champion. You know, like that's all he has to say. So what is Colby going to say to him? I have no idea. I think this is a badass fight. All right. That's me rambling about Wilt. All right, dude. Let's move on. Lightweight division. I'm going to run through some of these easy ones that make like a million miles of sense. Like I don't have to explain it. Islam versus Arman. Okay, I forgot that I made Arman really short. This is accurate height of Arman. Regardless, okay. Fuck, dude. Islam versus Arman. Make this fight. It's not going to happen in Abu Dhabi. Do it in January 2025. There's no rush. I'm sick of people talking about interim titles. Oh, let's do Arman versus Charles too. That's so dumb. It makes no sense. Please fuck off. Just wait for a title fight. Islam's been one of the most active champions. We don't have to rush this. We don't have to rush it. There's no point. Arman clearly deserves a title shot. He beat Charles Oliveira. I don't care that you like Charles better. He had 2 submission attempts, got outstruck, outdamaged. I don't care. He doesn't deserve a rematch. He doesn't deserve an interim title shot. He can fight someone else. I'm sick of Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier being the top 3 contenders. Let's get Arman Sarukian his title shot when they're both ready. This is the fight you make at lightweight. He's the only guy. I'm serious. Arman Sarukian, before I move on, he's the only guy that I would pick to beat Islam Makhachev at lightweight. He is the only guy. I'm serious. Unless Islam leaves the division, he's going to be champion or Arman's going to be champion. That's the only two. These two are the best. All right, dude. As for, like I said, the violent triangle, as they like to call themselves. First and foremost, Justin Gaethje, fight Dan Hooker. Enough said. Fight Dan Hooker, MSG, featured fight. This is one of the most badass fights you can make in the UFC. This is the most winnable matchup in the top 5 for Dan Hooker, in my opinion. If he beats Gaethje, he gets a title shot, or he can fight Max Holloway for the BMF if Holloway loses to Topuria, which is not going to happen, but regardless. I'm not delusional, guys. He's not going to lose to Topuria, guys. But yeah, if Hooker wins this, he either gets a title shot, or he can fight Max for the BMF, or the winner of this can fight Conor McGregor. There's so many good outcomes from this. You either get a title shot, McGregor fight, BMF fight, whatever the fuck you want. Let's do it, dude. This is the fight that needs to be made. And as for Dustin Poirier, right? I've talked about this fight before. I'm going to bring it up again. I want to see him fight Volkanovski. I think this is a great retirement fight for Poirier because it sums up his career perfectly. That he has never won the championship, but he has wins over so many great champions. And if he beats Volkanovski before he leaves the sport, I know that Volkanovski's on a downfall, but that's still one of the greatest fighters of all time. I think a win like this for Poirier can cement him as like a top 25 fighter of all time, like a top 30 at least fighter of all time. When you look at his resume, who he's beat, if he finishes Volk. And for Volkanovski, this is a good fight, dude. This is like a Holloway versus Gaethje type matchup for him, where Poirier is dangerous, but he's beatable. Like he is capable of being outstruck. He doesn't really bother about leg kicks unless you're Conor McGregor. Then he turns into fucking prime Rodtang, just defending everything, It is what it is, dude. I think this is a pretty intriguing matchup because I can't really say definitively who I think would win. Like, I'm leaning towards Poirier, but it's Poirier, bro. He's like, Volkanovski could win this. And I think this is a good option while he's waiting for the featherweight division to play out because he's kind of fucked either way, though. Like, I think Volk moving up to 55 is better for him because you're either fighting Topuria again, and you're probably going to get chinned. I love you, Volk, but probably going to get chinned. Or you're fighting Holloway again, which nobody really wants to see. Like, I could definitely see the UFC jumping Volk with someone else fighting Holloway for the belt if he beats Topuria. I could definitely see them being like, fuck it, let's do Evloev, or let's do Ortega again. I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what the fuck they do if Holloway wins, but I just don't see it being Volk 4. Like, that doesn't intrigue anybody, I think. So he should just move up, stay at 55, fight Poirier, fight Oliveira if he's at 155, or just fight Poirier, fight Gaethje, and try and get a title shot when Arman becomes champion. I don't know, do something fun like that. I think Volk should be at 55. Speaking of featherweight, obviously the champion is Ilia Topuria. I believe he's going to get completely fucking 48-47 by Max Holloway, but regardless of who wins that fight, right? Let's say Topuria wins that fight. Maybe a controversial take. I think the next person to fight for the featherweight belt should be Sean O'Malley. Dude. I think that this would be a big fight. I actually want to see this. I want to see Topuria versus O'Malley. If O'Malley chins Merab and Topuria beats Holloway, I don't think he'll chin him, but I think if he wins, it'll be by decision. If they win their next fights, why not? Who is next in line at featherweight if Topuria wins? It's either Volkanovski, no one cares. I'm sorry, I love you, Volk, again. No one cares, though. No one wants to see that rematch, right? Or it's fucking who? Like like Arnold Allen, Movsar Evloev. Like, nobody wants to see that. Why? And for fucking Sean O'Malley, just make Umar fight Merab if you beat him. Just make Umar fight fucking Piotr Jan or Figueiredo or Merab and earn a title shot with more than one ranked win, which he did not even deserve to get. You know what I mean? Like, I know that O'Malley did the exact same thing. Look how it worked out for you, bro. You gotta stall him out, dude. You can't let him copy your fucking flow. I think O'Malley versus Topuria is a big fight. The UFC is missing big fights at the moment. I feel like we're not getting champ versus champ matchups, or I guess quote-unquote dream fights. And I think this is an exciting matchup. Like, this will divide fans. This is a casual off if I've ever seen one. You get the casual Topuria glazers who think he's going to flatline KO O'Malley. And you get the casual O'Malley glazers that think he's going to, KO Topuria. Where do I stand on the matter? I'm not going to speak on this, brother. But I think this is be an exciting matchup at featherweight. I don't care about any other contender at featherweight. I'm not gonna lie. So, as for who's next after Topuria versus O'Malley or Holloway versus O'Malley, I think you should do Ortega versus Evloev, bro. I think honestly, like, it's part of the storyline, dude. This guy's boring as fuck. They need somebody exciting. And, I had to glide in there. And I had to finish him, dude. I think this is a bad matchup for Evloev, and that's exactly what I want to see. I think he's going to manage to beat Aljo just by being younger, a little bit more explosive, a little bit better on the feet. Good enough wrestling to avoid the submissions. And I think, honestly, Ortega is going to beat Diego Lopez. I'm going to make a video about this next week, but I do think Ortega beats Lopez by decision. And honestly, the winner of this fight has done enough to get a title shot. But by themselves, I don't think it is. Like, I don't think Ortega, with a win over Diego Lopez and Yair Rodriguez, I don't think you can really justify him jumping Volkanovski for the title shot. Same with Evloev beating fucking Aljo and Arnold Allen. Like, I don't think that's going to be enough to get a title shot, especially when he's boring as fuck. So I think this is the type of matchup that will be exciting. And if he wins it, okay, you kind of have to give him a title shot. If Ortega wins this, you 100% have to do it. He's reinvigorated himself. And I think he will beat Diego Lopez. So this is a good matchup, in my opinion, dude. Last thing I want to see at featherweight, just a random fight I think would be badass and kind of help the division out. Why has this never happened before? Why the fuck was it not Yair Rodriguez versus Arnold Allen instead of Yair Rodriguez versus Josh Emmett, bro? This fight should have happened already, and I think this is a great bounce back for Yair Rodriguez. That's exciting. He's not going to get wrestled into the canvas. Same for Arnold Allen. If Arnold Allen wins this, you might be able to justify a title shot, or you can give him a fight against Volkanovski, or maybe Topuria if he loses to Holloway, maybe a rematch with Holloway, maybe a fight with Ortega. There's a lot of good options for the winner of this, and I think this is an exciting matchup. This has UFC Fight Night main event written all over it, and I think this needs to be made, dude. We're getting to the home stretch, boys. We're in the bantamweight division, and I've made my video yesterday. Obviously, I think Sean O'Malley is going to KO Merab, and I've also said in this video that I think after that happens, he should move up and challenge Topuria for his belt, because I think we need big fights. We need big press conferences. We need people that are, beefing, undefeated records, talking shit. I think we need a big fight like that in the sport, and I think that is the matchup you do. So as for the rest of the bantamweight division, I think win or lose, Merab should be fighting Umar Nurmagomedov next. This is the only really intriguing matchup where I go, you know what? I actually really want to see Merab in this fight. I really want to see the wrestling of Merab versus the wrestling of Umar. And I think Umar's striking is good enough to where you could see a world where he's defending takedowns, trying to outstrike Merab. But you can also see him trying to use his grappling of his own. It's a very intriguing matchup. It makes a lot of sense for the future of the division. And if Merab's coming off a loss and he fights Umar, that's a good bounce back for him to get another title shot if he wins. And if Umar wins this, it's huge. It's huge. And that O'Malley versus Umar fight is actually big, because now you're fighting a guy who's headlined a pay-per-view, who's probably won a lot of fans over with his trash talking leading up to... Like, you guys know this, right? You guys know the fucking script by now, dude. Merab is going to come into fight week. He's going to make some funny skits. He's going to have some good moments at the press conference. Everyone is going to be like, oh, dude, I actually like Merab now. I'm actually a Merab fan now. Dude, I'm actually rooting for Merab. Is it crazy I like Merab? That's literally how it goes every single time with these guys that people swear they hate, but they have no idea why. I know that the Jose Aldo fight was the reason. And I know the Petr Yan fight was kind of the reason as well. But come on, dude. Merab is a nice guy. He's a cool dude. And I think this is going to be another Bilal Muhammad situation where he comes in, wins over the fans. But I don't think he's going to get the win. I don't think he's as good as Bilal Muhammad is at fighting, unfortunately. And I think Sean O'Malley's way better than Leon Edwards. But yeah, Merab versus Umar is the fight you do next at bantamweight, regardless of the outcome of the title fight. And another fight that needs to happen is Petr Yan versus Figueiredo. This is like when two villains fight each other, dude. I feel like this is like a death battle, bro, where like Darth Vader fought like the Joker, bro. Like, this is just a badass... This is just two villains at bantamweight fighting each other. I need to see this. It's a badass matchup. Makes all the sense in the world. And honestly, if Figueiredo wins this, I wouldn't be mad at him jumping the queue ahead of Umar Nurmagomedov to get a title shot. And if Petr Yan wins this, that's a pretty good statement win. Like, hey, me and O'Malley too. That's a fight I want to see. I know that's probably not going to happen, but my dream bantamweight title fight is O'Malley versus Yan 2. 5 rounds for the title. I need to see that fight again. The first one was so fucking entertaining. I want to see it again. So I think this is a good way to set that up. And the only other thing to really like make sure happen at bantamweight, if I'm the UFC, listen, man, I think Jose Aldo's gonna be bald, guys. Listen, man, I think he's gonna come in wearing shorts, dude. I think he's gonna come from Brazil, man. Listen, dude, I think he's gonna walk out to run this town, man. I really do, bro. So Cejudo versus Aldo. This should have been made already when he came back. It should have been made for 307. If he wins at 307, which I think he will, they need to do this matchup. They need to do Cejudo versus Aldo, and the winner of this can go up to fight a top contender, and hopefully Jose Aldo beats Henry Cejudo. Hopefully Jose Aldo can get a title shot, because another fight I really love to see is Sean O'Malley versus Jose Aldo, and I think this is a great way to get there without feeding him to fucking like some monster like Song Yadong or some shit like that. If he beats Henry Cejudo, he's still top ranked. He has a win over Cheeto. He can jump ahead of Cheeto in the queue. And he can fight Corey Sandhagen for a title shot. That's a fun matchup. Cejudo versus Sandhagen. Aldo versus Sandhagen. Great matchup. That's what you do at bantamweight, man. That's what you do. And I think Sandhagen versus Kyler Phillips is a good matchup if Kyler Phillips beats Rob Font. Last division, talk about obviously my division, the flyweight division. I'm coming off a couple of losses, obviously, guys. I got to talk about what should be next for me. And I think, honestly, a good bounce back for me would be against Manel Kape. All right? This is basically the battle of, like, who we want to be champion at flyweight. Like, am I fucking wrong, dude? These are the two guys that we were all praying would become champion instead of Pantoja. But unfortunately, it hasn't worked out that way. And I think the only way to make sure one of them gets back on track is to put them against each other. Hear me out here, dude. The only way to avoid a Dominic Reyes downfall for both of these two... No, fuck that. Manel Kape was never going to be champion. But regardless, the only way to avoid the Dominic Reyes downfall, I think, is to put Steve Usyk against someone that if he loses to Manel Kape, we still get an exciting title run of Manel Kape finally going back up, right? But if Usyk wins this, which I think he would, because he's just bigger and more technical, can wrestle if he needs to in this matchup, it's not going to be as hard as Kai Kara France was. This can help us prevent the Reyes downfall. Because I cannot see this dude lose another fight. And I can't see him lose to a fucking, like, random at flyweight. Like, I'm only going to be accepting it if he manages to lose to Manel Kape. Because Manel Kape is exciting. Right? But if he goes out there and fights fucking Asu Almabayev or Tagirul Mbekov, and you're probably like, who the fuck is that? Those are real people. If he loses those matchups, we're done. We're cooked. It's over. It's done for. You know? And I think this is a safer option of doing Usyk versus Kape. They have name value as well, which is pretty rare at flyweight. So let's do that. And the last thing to talk about, give Kai Kara France a title shot, whatever. Now, who gives a fuck? I work so hard for this title shot, man. Whatever, dude. We'll give him the title shot. This is what you should do with every single UFC division. Let me know down below, though, guys. What do you think the UFC needs to be doing? What fights need to be made? Who should be fighting for the belt? What should the agendas be at every weight class? Let me know in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And go follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bedtime MMA. I will see you guys in the next video, man. Goodbye. Also, make Shamil Gaziev versus Tai Tuivasa, please. It'll be hilarious. Thank you.